Hey guys, this is Naman Mittal welcoming you all to Daily News Nuts, an initiative of PrepNuts. Today the date is 31st of May 2020 and we shall be seeing all the important articles that are important from the exams perspective. आज near about 7 articles हैं हमारे पास from the Hindu, one article we have from Indian Express and one article from the PIB. फ्रंट पेज ऑफ द हिंदू में आज कोई भी इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज नहीं है एक्सेप्ट द वन व्हिच इज रिलेटेड टू द कोरोना वायरस डेली अपडेट्स. गवर्नमेंट eases a slew of restrictions, malls, religious places to open. So Ministry of Home Affairs has released its new guidelines with respect to the unlock 1.0 and this indicates that the lockdown era has gone now and the unlocking of the lockdown has begun. So government has provided now more of freedoms than restrictions, which wasn't the case in the period of the lockdown. With regards to the coronavirus related updates, you can give this article a quick read. Now coming on to the first article of our day, on the page number 7, PM cares not within the ambit of RTI Act PMO. So recently एक RTI application file करी गई which was intended to know the details on the creation and operation of the PM cares fund. So PM cares fund, which is the Citizens Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situations Fund, was created to deal with the coronavirus pandemic for the relief measures, and since it is not a public authority, therefore the RTI request with respect to the PM cares fund was not entertained. और ऐसा पहले भी हो चुका है जब एक RTI रिक्वेस्ट को गवर्नमेंट ने रिफ्यूज कर दिया था with respect to the PM cares fund by citing the Supreme Court's observation that indiscriminate and impractical demands under the RTI Act for the disclosure of all and sundry information would be counterproductive. Same is the case with the PMNRF fund जहां पे RTI applicable नहीं है just because of the fact that it is again not a public authority. We already have covered all these details in detail on a Cracked Nuts initiative wherein we have compared and contrasted both the funds, that is PM cares fund and the PMNRF fund. The link of that video is mentioned in the I button above and also in the description box below. You can check each and every essential information with respect to the PM cares fund and the PMNRF fund from there. Now let us move on to our next article. Skymet says monsoon is in. IMD waits. So there is little confusion with respect to the arrival of the monsoon, where a private weather agency, that is Skymet, has said that the monsoon has arrived, whereas the IMD says the monsoon hasn't arrived yet. इस article से जो हमें extract करना है, that is the criteria adopted by the IMD to declare the onset of the monsoons. तो basically three major conditions use करता है IMD to declare the onset. ये तीन major conditions आपको prelims point of view से पता होनी चाहिए, because one must not be surprised if such kind of questions are asked in the examination. तो जो तीन major conditions हैं to declare the onset, they include, first is 60% of the 14 weather stations must report rainfall of about 2.5 mm for 2 consecutive days. The second condition is that the depth of westerlies should be 600 hectopascals or HPA. And the third condition is that the OLR should be below 200 watt per square meter. Here OLR stands for the outwave long radiations. आपको इन चीजों की technicalities में नहीं जाना है. You just need to have a rough idea about these three conditions so that it becomes easy for you to eliminate the confusing options in the prelims examination and choose the correct one over all such given options. So इस article से बस हमें यही extract करना था. Now let us move on to the next article. India's recovery rate improves to 47%. So this is a good news with respect to the spread of the coronavirus infections in India, wherein the recovery rate of India has improved to near about 47%. यहाँ पे टेस्टिंग से रिलेटेड एक अप्रोच मेंशन्ड है इंडिया की, that is the hub and spokes model which the Union Health Ministry has adopted. So later on कभी आपको बोलना पड़े या लिखना पड़े about the testing strategy of India, so you should mention about this hub and spoke model because this definitely will give you an edge out there. तो hub and spoke model में basically institutes and lab को select किया जाएगा which have the capacity and expertise for both, that is sample collection, handling, processing and testing. तो जो इंस्टीट्यूट्स एंड लैब्स इस क्राइटेरिया को फॉलो करेंगे उनको बेसिकली हब्स बनाया जाएगा एंड दीज हब्स वुड मोस्टली बी द गवर्नमेंट लैब्स approved by the ministries. So these hubs will act as a guiding force for their particular regions or the clusters, and such hubs will include many spokes in the form of the laboratories that have RT-PCR machines and requisite manpower. So this is how basically the hubs and spokes model will function. Again इस आर्टिकल में बहुत लिमिटेड इंफॉर्मेशन मेंशन है जो हमें एक्सट्रैक्ट करनी है, और सिर्फ एक कीवर्ड मेंशन्ड है, दैट इज द हब एंड स्पोक्स मॉडल which India has adopted for its testing strategy. The next fact mentioned out here is that the fatality rate is 2.86% in India. तो ये ट्रेंड आपको पता होना चाहिए with respect to the India when we compare it with the global fatality or the global mortality rate जो near about 7% है. So that was all in this article, and now we shall move on to our next article. Track COVID-19 exposure, ICMR tells states. So Indian Council of Medical Research ने एडवाइस किया है स्टेट्स को कि वो सीरो सर्वेस को कंडक्ट करें टू मेजर द स्प्रेड ऑफ द कोरोना वायरस इन द पॉपुलेशन यूजिंग द ELISA टेस्ट. सो ELISA टेस्ट इज द इंडिजीनियस एंटीबॉडी टेस्ट विच हैज अ वेरी गुड सेंसिटिविटी एंड स्पेसिफिसिटी रेट्स. तो इसकी सेंसिटिविटी नियर अबाउट 97.5% है और इसकी जो स्पेसिफिसिटी है दैट इज नियर अबाउट 100%. सो एंटीबॉडी टेस्ट बेसिकली एंटीबॉडीज को डिटेक्ट करके किए जाते हैं फ्रॉम द ह्यूमन बॉडी विच आर डेवलप्ड वंस अ ह्यूमन बीइंग इज इन्फेक्टेड बाय एन इन्फेक्शन. सो टू फाइट दैट इन्फेक्शन बॉडी क्रिएट्स एंटीबॉडीज, जिन एंटीबॉडीज को एनालाइज किया जाता है एंड देन अकॉर्डिंगली रिजल्ट्स आते हैं. तो इंडिया में रिसेंटली चाइना से नियर अबाउट 5 लाख किट्स का ऑर्डर किया था टू कंडक्ट द एंटीबॉडी टेस्ट, बट अपॉन रिसीविंग सच एंटीबॉडी टेस्टिंग किट्स वी फाउंड दैट द रिजल्ट्स वर नॉट अप टू द मार्क एंड दे वर हाईली इनकरेक्ट. तो ICMR ने डायरेक्ट किया देन स्टेट्स को टू स्टॉप यूजिंग दोस किट्स, एंड देन इट वाज डिक्लेयर्ड दैट इंडिया विल डेवलप इट्स ओन इंडिजीनियस एंटीबॉडी टेस्टिंग किट, एंड देन ICMR केम अप विद द ELISA टेस्ट. इस ELISA टेस्ट में बेसिकली 2.5 आवर्स में नियर अबाउट 90 सैंपल्स टेस्ट हो सकते हैं. सो दीज किट्स आर नॉट ओनली कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव बट आर आल्सो वेरी एफिशिएंट इन टेस्टिंग द पॉपुलेशंस एट द लार्जर स्केल. तो ELISA टेस्टिंग किट्स को यूज करके सीरो सर्वेस कराना पॉसिबल है. सीरो सर्वेस में बेसिकली पॉपुलेशन बेस्ड सर्वेस किए जाते हैं बाय टेकिंग द सैंपल्स ऑफ द ब्लड सीरम टू गेट एन आइडिया अबाउट द लेवल ऑफ द स्प्रेड ऑफ इन्फेक्शन अमंग द पीपल एंड द रीजन्स. So it is important basically for the targeted and evidence based measures because RT-PCR टेस्ट जो हैं वो आप मास लेवल पे कंडक्ट नहीं करा सकते हैं because of many factors like it requires heavy infra which includes laboratories and machines, skilled medical workers who can conduct those tests and assess the results from them, and also such tests are time taking and not cost effective because the cost of each RT-PCR ranges near about 4500 rupees. तो obvious है कि RT-PCR टेस्ट को मास लेवल पे यूज नहीं किया जा सकता है. ओनली टू नो द स्पेसिफिक रिजल्ट्स ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स RT-PCR टेस्ट का यूज किया जाता है, बट पॉपुलेशन बेस्ड सर्वेस जिनको सीरो सर्वेस भी बोलते हैं उसके लिए एंटीबॉडी टेस्टिंग किट्स का यूज किया जाता है जो कि अब ELISA टेस्ट के थ्रू किया जाएगा. Now we shall move on to our next article. Trump cuts ties with WHO as COVID-19 grips Latin America. सो ट्रंप ने थ्रेटन किया था WHO को कुछ टाइम पहले कि वो फंडिंग परमानेंटली स्टॉप कर देंगे और साथ ही में यूएस के टाइज परमानेंटली सीवियर कर देंगे फ्रॉम द WHO. And here is the news now when the US has decided to sever its ties with the WHO. So US being the biggest contributor of the WHO in terms of funding has finally decided to leave the WHO. तो इस डिसीजन के पीछे बेसिकली चाइना इन्वॉल्व है because Trump has repeatedly accused WHO of leaning excessively towards China and he asked WHO to bring reforms within 30 days or else US will withdraw from the WHO. तो यहाँ पे जो reforms की बात की गई थी they were not institutional in nature but more related to the political alignments. But since the reforms of the WHO have come up in the news तो हमें institutional reforms with respect to the WHO कुछ पता होने चाहिए. तो first reform with respect to the WHO would be fundings. WHO में जो फंडिंग्स होती हैं वो मोस्टली वॉलंटरी होती हैं जिसके कारण जो कंट्री जितना ज्यादा वॉलंटरी कंट्रीब्यूट करेगी WHO में WHO की पॉलिसीज ऑब्वियसली अपने इंक्लिनेशन टुवर्ड्स दैट कंट्री शो करती हैं. सो देयर इज नीड फॉर WHO टू बिकम फाइनेंशियली इंडिपेंडेंट एंड फाइनेंशियली साउंड. सेकंड रिफॉर्म रिक्वायर्ड इज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द एनफोर्समेंट पावर्स. WHO के पास एनफोर्समेंट पावर्स नहीं है. WHO डज नॉट हैव एनी इन्वेस्टिगेशन पावर्स. WHO WHO cannot ask any country to submit a report mandatorily to it, nor WHO can release any binding guidelines. तो इन चीजों के कारण WHO merely एक advisory body बन के रह जाती है, which weakens its effectiveness and relevance. The third issue here is with respect to the competition with the other international health agencies. जैसे कि यूएस ने यहाँ पे भी बोला है कि जो हम फंड्स WHO को देते थे, we will redirect those funds to the other international organizations and agencies which are working for the health sector. तो WHO इस टाइप का कंपटीशन फेस करता है with the other health agency, जिसके कारण काफी ज्यादा ओवरलैपिंग देखी जाती है in its functions and objectives. So एक कन्वर्जेंस की जरूरत है between all those agencies which are working apart from WHO for the health sector, ताकि हमें tangible results देखने को मिले at the ground level. So these are some of the institutional reforms that the WHO is in need of, and we definitely will try to cover the relevance of the WHO and the required reforms in our PrepNuts initiative. Now moving on to our next article, why is locust surge posing a threat to agriculture in India? So locust attacks on India is a major concern to the Indian agriculture and the food security of our country. और ये article बहुत अच्छे से explain करता है locust attacks on India and the related aspects of the locust attack. So you should give this article a quick read, and we shall not be covering this article out here because we already have covered locust attack on India in a PrepNuts initiative, the link of which is mentioned in the I button above and also in the description box below. So this article being the last article from the Hindu, we shall now see one article from the Indian Express. Forex reserves hit all-time high on FDI, FPI inflows, fall in import expenditure. तो ये प्रीलिम्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज इट शोज अ ट्रेंड विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स का एक रफ आइडिया आपको होना चाहिए. कोरोना वायरस पेंडेमिक ने जब इंडिया को हिट करा तो फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स का डाउनफॉल देखा गया because of the outflow of the FPI and the FDIs. But since last 4 weeks, Forex reserves are again increasing and they have hit their all-time high by standing close to $490 billion as of now. So this increase in the Forex reserve basically can be attributed to the rise in the FPI and FDI inflows, number one, and also to the low levels of the Brent crude oil prices, which definitely have benefited India and its foreign exchange reserves. Along with these two things, import and exports also matter a lot with respect to the increase in the Forex reserves. जहाँ पे हमें ये देखने को मिला है कि import substantially गिरा है because of the low consumption demand, and also there has been decline in the exports. But this decline definitely is less than the decline we have seen in the import sector. So these are few of the reasons because of which forex reserves of India have hit their all-time high. यहाँ पे apart from the forex reserves हम थोड़ा सा FPI और FDI को भी समझ लेते हैं from the prelims point of view again. तो FPI are basically the foreign portfolio investments and FDI are basically the foreign direct investments. So FPIs generally are seen into the stock markets and the bond market, whereas FDIs are mostly seen into the businesses and the establishments. So you can easily get an idea that FDIs are more long term in nature, whereas FPIs are relatively for the shorter term than the FDIs. Then according to the SEBI, that is the Securities and Exchange Board of India, all the minority ownerships which are more than 10% will be termed as FDIs, whereas all the minority ownerships which are less than 10% will be termed as FPIs. FDI का जो investment है that is more into the businesses and establishments by giving capital to all the businesses and establishment industries which are required by them for their modernization and expansion, whereas FPIs do not invest generally in such kind of things, so their direct impact on the business and establishments are not so tangible in nature. So एक ये brief सा difference है between FPI and FDIs, इसका idea आपको होना चाहिए. So now let us move on to our next and the last article, that is from the PIB. IT Minister launches National AI Portal of India, www.ai.gov.in. So the Ministry of Electronics and the Ministry of Information and Technology in collaboration have launched India's first national artificial intelligence portal, which would be one-stop digital platform for all the artificial intelligence related developments in India. This portal will basically share all the documents, case studies, research reports which are related to the artificial intelligence. The government of India has also launched a new program that is Responsible Artificial Intelligence for Youth. तो ये प्रोग्राम इंपॉर्टेंट है both from the prelims perspective and from the mains perspective, जहां आप इसको as an example यूज कर सकते हैं in the GS3 paper under Science and Technology. So Responsible Artificial Intelligence for Youth will empower the youth to become artificial intelligence ready. It will help reduce the skill gaps, create meaningful social impact solutions. And this program will be open for the students of classes 8 to 12th from all the central and state government run schools. तो ये प्राइवेट स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स के लिए ओपन नहीं है. इस प्रोग्राम के थ्रू रेसिडेंशियल बूट कैंप्स रन किए जाएंगे, ऑनलाइन सेशंस दिए जाएंगे टू द सिलेक्टेड स्टूडेंट्स एंड एडिक्वेट हैंड होल्डिंग विल बी प्रोवाइडेड बाय द सर्टिफाइड आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस coaches and mentors. So do give careful reading to this program, that is the Responsible Artificial Intelligence for the Youth program, because it is very important. So this article being the last article of the day, guys, we shall wrap up the daily news nuts of the day. Please post your suggestions, queries, doubts in the comment section below. Also check out all the links mentioned in the description box below. Keep learning, guys. Thank you.